everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable start to your week. For everybody, if you notice, I haven't been around. I took time off to spend time with my lovely wife as we celebrated our anniversary. Uh, we took just a little time to ourselves. Nothing extravagant, but definitely some time needed. So for those of you who sent well wishes, those who knew, we didn't do a whole bunch of um broadcast on it. We've learned to sort of keep ourselves to ourselves. But for those of you who did send well wishes, we definitely appreciate it. And it was well needed, well deserved, well earned. This has been a challenging year. We are excited about where we're headed as a couple, as a family, as business owners, and what we're building. Um, and we're looking forward to 2022. And for that, I want to thank everybody. I'm going to be very to the point in this. There are some people out there that are going through some things. There are some people out there who are dealing with some questions. You know there's something inside of you that's yearning and pulling and pushing for something greater. You know there's something inside of you that says this can't be all that there is. But you are in a place where you don't understand, or you don't know, or you're losing hope because you don't see everything that you need to see. Here's what I can tell you, something that I've learned over time, both by Good Morning Bell, both by personal experiential observation, and because human behavior and human performance is my discipline, my background, it's my area of expertise. What I've learned is this: visionaries are often tormented. And people say, what do you mean by that? Well, visionaries are tormented because visionaries have the ability to see what is to come, but they are often forced to wake up to what is. So you have an understanding that something greater is out there, but there is this thing called momentary or temporary circumstance, momentary and temporary situation. And what many people do is they allow themselves to be forced to make permanent decisions based on temporary circumstances, temporary situations. And when you do that, you tend to look at what's going on now, lose sight of the vision. That's why you're to keep your head up. Why? Because you're to be looking ahead. Yes, you need to be able to deal with what's going on in the moment, but you can't be caught up in the moment because the moment is temporary. That's why it's a moment. It's not to be lived out permanently. You don't make permanent decisions based on temporary realities. You have to have a vision, because the vision gives you a clear picture of not just what's happening, but what's to come. Far too many people are sitting up and looking at something but can't get to it because they are constantly giving power to what is. You've heard me say this many times before. People ask me, how is it that you can be in such a challenging time and you have such a great spirit and you don't become frenetic and unglued? It's because I'm living in the moment, but I'm seeing and planted in the future. I know what's to come. I know that this moment isn't the end of the story. I know that this moment is simply a part of the process. If you don't understand that adversity is a necessary element and component to what is to come, you build, you prepare, and you situate based on what you're going through, but you're headed somewhere. This is a journey. This is not a static existence. You're growing, you're becoming, you're moving. So you're never going to be in a situation forever. But I can tell you that being a visionary it's tormenting. Why? Because I know something better is to come, but I also have to be aware of the fact that I'm going through some things to get there, that I'm not just going to by osmosis or wishing or some magical potion get through the process without enduring the process to achieve the prize or the promise. I must understand that the prize and the promise comes by first enduring the process. Process always precedes the promise. That's the thing you have to understand, that yes, there's a vision, but the vision has to be worked out. There's an old saying that that nothing in life is guaranteed. I disagree. I disagree. I know for certain in my observation that there's one guarantee in life, and that one guarantee in life is if you quit the thing that you desire, the thing that you're chasing, the thing that you want so badly, if you quit, it's guaranteed that you'll never have it. If you quit, you're guaranteed to lose. You cannot win if you quit. That's the guarantee. Now, I'm not telling you that if you don't quit, that you won't experience failure. Failure is a part of the process, but ultimate failure only comes when you quit, when you give up, when you lay it down, when you finally accept the fact that you can no longer go after it, when you believe the lie of your circumstances and you sit up there and you start saying, well, because it says, because it's this, because I'm that. I'm telling you that there's no place that life can't redeem you. I'm telling you there's no place that if you are a person of faith, God can't redeem you. I'm telling you that I don't care where you land, if you decide that that's not the end of the story and you still have the breath of life in you, that there are some things you're going to be able to do in this life that you haven't done yet. Now, here's the problem. When you haven't done something yet, you don't understand what it's going to take to get there. So you will often be deterred by the challenge. You'll often be deterred by the adversity. You'll often be deterred by delay. You'll often be deterred by the negative impulses and responses and opinions of other people. There are some people out there that can't see where you're going because they've never been there themselves. And so they don't understand the vision, but the vision wasn't given to them. The vision is yours. The thing you have to also remember about visions are for an appointed time. Visions have a place in the future. You got to walk out the path to get to the destiny. You don't just appear by osmosis. That's something you got to be. But I'm gonna tell you something. This thing real simple. If you quit, there's no obtainment of the promise in quitting. Matter of fact, I believe there's this verse off up in Hebrews, somewhere around 10 chapter, somewhere around the 37th verse, where it says that his soul finds no pleasure in those who draw back. But then the writer of Hebrews, who depending on who you ask, could be any of a number of different people. It's one of those books that people don't really truly know the authorship. Some think Barnabas, some think Paul, and anywhere in between. But here, this is what I can tell you. It says his soul finds no pleasure in those who draw back. Then it says, but we are not of those who draw back. We are those who continue on to the fulfilling of the promise, to the fulfilling of the soul. We are those who continue until we achieve the thing that we have set out to achieve. And then the very next verse follows that in chapter 1 and in chapter 11, verse 1, it says, for faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. In other words, faith is faith is that substance. It's the thing that gives you hope, and it's the evidence of things you can't see. See, you're sitting up looking at the circumstance. That's the visual thing. That's the thing you can see. Faith is activated now in the things that you can't see to provide you a vision beyond what the physical eyes can see, so that you are now trusting something beyond what is usual, what is ordinary. I'm telling you, you don't get to extraordinary by doing ordinary things. In order to achieve the extraordinary, there is a need and a requisite for extra. And that's going to require something extra to achieve extraordinary. That extraordinary requires something extra. So you're not going to be able to do what everybody else is doing to achieve extraordinary, to achieve phenomenal, to achieve excellence. Is going to require you to be willing to do something above and beyond what everybody else is doing. It has often been said that if you want what everybody else doesn't have, you got to be willing to do what everybody else isn't willing to do. You can't do what everybody else is doing and have more than everybody else. That's not how the universe works. That's not how God designed it. You're going to have to be willing to put in something extra, maybe some extra hours, maybe some extra studying, maybe some extra preparation, maybe developing relationships at a higher level, but you're going to have to be willing to do something extra. That is the thing. See, we want things to fall in our laps. We live in a world where everything is about instant gratification. I mean, everything is microwaved, everything is instantaneous. If it's not instantaneous, we immediately retreat to a resolution and a conclusion that says it wasn't meant to be. It's not God's will for us. It's just not meant to be. Why? Because it didn't happen in your timing, because it didn't happen at the very moment that you thought it should, because it didn't come together immediately. No, that's not how things work. So you got to be willing to walk some things out. There's going to be some times that there will be delay. Delay does not mean denial. You got to understand, you got to look back. Sometimes delay is the preparation and the test. Delay will test you to see if you're really truly committed enough to stand your ground. And it's also the preparation to really prepare you to walk into what you are about to experience, because what you're about to experience is nothing like you've ever experienced before, but you have to be prepared to walk it out. You have to be prepared to walk it out. You have to be in a place where you're committed to do something above and beyond what other people are doing. If you want something above and beyond what other people are experiencing. I've never seen so many people sitting in a position of being average, wanting something better, something extraordinary, something great, but not being willing to step from outside of the box of ordinary, outside the box of mediocrity, to do something necessary. Let me tell you something. All of my faith-based people, all of my prayer warriors. Let me tell you something. You better start understanding the mechanism and the component and the tool and the instrument and the weapon of prayer. Prayer is not what you go to make things happen. Prayer is about revelation. Prayer is about confirmation and affirmation. Prayer is where you go to get understanding. Prayer is where you go to communicate. You are going to have to carry out the plan. God is not going to carry out the plan for you. Going to God and saying, do this and do that, that's not how it works. That's a misunderstanding. And that's why so many people are stuck. A pastor I counseled back in 2012 called me and said, man, I'm about to walk away from it all if you can't explain this to me. Why are we the most prayed up people, the most churched people, the most spiritual, the most shouting people in the planet, and we're the most defeated? I said, because you misunderstand two of the most powerful forms of our faith, faith itself and prayer. Too many people are trying to pray themselves out of circumstances they need to be walking out of. God is never going to deliver you from the giants you were sent to slay. If you have a purpose on this planet and you got to answer into that purpose, there's going to be some difficult moments. There are going to be some challenges. There are going to be some hardships. That's a part of the process. You got to walk that out. God's not going to deliver you from the giant he sent you to slay. You can stop praying about that. That's why you're so frustrated. You're trying to get taken out of something you were meant to be in, because you are the change. You are the change factor. You are the change mechanism. You're the one that's going to turn this thing around. That's a part of your gift. That's a part of your purpose. That's why you're here. Now, prayer is where you get the revelation. That's where you get the understanding. That's where you get to hear, how am I supposed to move? Is this person a part of my destiny, or are they the enemy in disguise? That's where you work with prayer. You get the clarity about what's going on around you, but you're going to have to walk out your purpose. You're going to have to walk it out. Far too many people have become happy and content with being average, because we live in a world where being average is accepted. The problem is God, life, and the universe, if so, doesn't reward mediocrity. God, life, and the universe only rewards excellence, exceptional behavior, extraordinary effort, commitment beyond measure. That's what's rewarded. That's why you only see a small percentage of people excelling. Why? Because most people are comfortable with being average. Most people are going to go into 22 the same way they came into 2021 and walked out 2021, just doing enough to get by, not willing to step out on faith, not willing to take action, definitely not willing to put any skin in the game, too afraid they're going to get hurt, too afraid they're going to lose. Some people are never going to experience love because they won't open up to it. Some people will never experience financial fluidity stupidity because they're not willing to put any skin in the game. Some people will never own their own business, not because it's not possible, but because they've bought into the lie that they're going to get hurt, that they're going to lose something. The bottom line is, no matter what situation in, it's not a guarantee. The only guarantee you have is that if you don't get out there and try, you'll never experience it. That's the guarantee. You can sit up and work for a job. In one of my companies, I actually did what's known as expatriation and repatriation. I specialize in expatriating and repatriating high-level executives at the end of the 1990s and into the 2000s. This is one of the things I did in one of my companies is I expatriated high-level expats for companies like Enron. Big story there. The one I'm going to actually use: Enron, Nortel, CDS, Flora Daniels, Dresser Rand Industries, and a bunch of other companies. I sent their high-level executives over to different places: Jakarta, Indonesia; Balikpapan, Indonesia; London, Perth, Australia; Sydney, Australia. A bunch of different places. Sent them overseas, got them set up with everything they needed to handle the entire thing. And I also handled the repatriation when it was time for clients to come back home. I got all of the stuff done necessary to get them home, from the shipping of their household goods to their documentation, to their new assignment, all of that. I did that. And here's what I can tell you. When I was the person, literally the person that was tasked with bringing home all of the Enron employees when Enron collapsed. And that was one of the most eye-opening experiences I ever saw, because I saw people who had put in 25 years, 20, 25, 30 years with a company that they felt they had solid ground on, that they had played it safe for 30 years. And you know what? There was one person in particular. She was the personal assistant to a VP that was over, I want to say, in Perth. And when they came home, I had to tell them what their allowance was going to be, what their severance package was, and all of this stuff like this. And because the company was misreporting their profits, they had employees who were manipulating their 401ks to be heavy laden in Enron stock, which is never smart. You're supposed to diversify. Anybody will tell you always diversify. You always hedge and leverage so that you are protected somewhat. But that was this one lady was literally going to be retiring in a year, had spent 30 years with the company. She was a personal assistant of a VP. I'm pretty sure that was probably the third or fourth person she had worked with, because he was definitely younger than she was. And she had put everything she had into that company and got her entire 401k wiped out. She was supposed to retire with a nest egg of over $1 million of what she had put into that company. She was now in her 60s and flat broke because she played it safe and thought that was the safe way. And this isn't attacking anybody who wants to do it. What I'm telling you, you can sit up and say, I'm going to go with a job because it's safe, but that job isn't promised. That's somebody else's company. And that at any time, especially in states like Texas, where it's a right to work state, they can literally fire you with no cause. It's a right to work state. So the thing is, what you've got to understand is that you have to take control of your life, in whatever way you take control of your life, but you can't sit around and think you can play it safe. There's no such thing as safe. Now, what you can do is play it too close to the vest, and you can play it too tight, and you can sit up and you can lose. What you have to understand is, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get it, because I'm going to take some bumps and bruises no matter what route I go. Life is not going to produce you a smooth, easy sail. Even the ones that are hiding in the corner of comfort, that's going to be shaken, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. One day you're going to get a phone call, and somebody you love is going to be gone. One day you're going to get a phone call, and some unexpected situation is going to have happened, and you're going to have to deal with it. That's life. If you're going to have to deal with it anyway, you might as well go out there and do it on your terms, because you get this one shot at this. You get, if you're lucky and you're blessed, you get 75 to 90 years on this planet. Some more, a lot less. Some to get more, some a lot more get less. But that's it. So you, in 75 to 90 years, you got an opportunity to make an impact in this world that's so significant that people will speak of you long after you're gone. That's called a legacy. Your legacy is so powerful that it can carry your progeny. your offspring. It can sit up and put them in situations and open doors for them based off of the legacy you left behind. It also gives them an encouragement. It also sets a standard. It also says if Pawpaw did this, if great great granddaddy did this, if this is what I have to at least do this. You have a responsibility to yourself to walk into your destiny in the fullness. But what I can tell you is extraordinary requires something extra. The question is, what are you willing to give it outside of what is normal? On that note, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. What we're doing as we close out this year is I'm telling everybody, look, don't go into 2022 with the same pace, same speed, same ideology, same thinking, same behavior, same habits as you've moved through 2021 and probably entered into 2021. You need to go into 2022 with a whole new mindset, a whole new way of thinking, a whole new approach, and with momentum built. And so what I am going to do is I'm offering an opportunity for you to do that. If you look in there, one of the biggest things that we face are the limitations that are placed on ourselves through our thinking. The power of limiting beliefs is what holds so many people back. If you think about everything I've talked about, it's because you believe that this is what's going to happen. You believe that this is all that can happen. You believe, stop allowing limited beliefs to box you in to an area in a restrictive zone that is far within your capacity. You need to step outside of that. But at first, to do that, you've got to address those limiting beliefs. This course I actually created over 5 years ago for a company, and I sold the rights to it for 5 years. I got it back a few months ago. I revamped it, and I'm not giving it back to them, but I am offering it to my clients. They wanted to buy the license for another 5 years, and I decided not to do that. I decided, hey, look, I'm going to give this to the people who I'm in direct contact. I'm going to give them a chance to benefit from it. And so I'm giving it at a 70% discount to what they charge for it because I want people to have it. I want people to go into 2022 with something they can fight with. If you're really ready to do something different, and you're ready to make a change, and you're ready to commit to something, this course has over 13 different lessons. It has an affirmation reel that you can literally watch, and it gives you affirmations. This reel can also be personalized for an additional cost, but this reel is universal. So the affirmations are powerful and they break limiting beliefs. The general limiting beliefs that are holding people back are covered in the affirmations, but there are 13 plus lessons that you go over on your pace to make something change. And if you start now, you go into the new year with that momentum built, with the evolution of a new person, instead of trying to start from flat scratch on January the 1st, which most people are going to be doing with their New Year's resolutions. That's what I'm offering to you. Look, as I always say, I live my life on full. Why? Because I plan on dying on E. Doc, what do you say? You say that all the time. My wife used to lose her mind when I would say that. Stop talking about dying. I said, I'm not talking about dying now, but I'm saying whatever day I leave this place, I know I'm going to leave on E. Why? Because I live every moment of my life on full. That means I'm not going to die with anything left in me. I'm not going to take anything to the grave. Don't take your greatness to the grave. Don't take your vision to the grave. Don't take, hold on, Bell is asking a question. You know what? I know that it's significantly off for the price. It's 70% off. Let me actually look and see what the cost is on it. It is, I'm actually checking now. Hold on. I do apologize, but somebody asked a question, so I'm going to try to answer it as quick as I can. And let me see. I'm going into products. Crushing limiting beliefs. Where is it? Here we go. The original price on it was over $1,500. It is now $397.97. Hope that helps. Okay, let's go ahead and finish out. Look, I tell you what, whether you get it or not, you got to make a change. You've got to make a choice and make a decision to be committed to something. That's one of the biggest problems we have is we're not committed to anything. We jump into things, we jump out. We don't finish what we start. We don't go all in. We're just out there fiddling around, trying to find a way, looking for something to click. Let me tell you something. You don't get something to click. You make it click. George Bernard Shaw once said that the people who get on in this world are the people who wake up every day and go out and find the opportunities that they need. If the opportunities do not exist, they create them. That's it. Nothing comes easy. I've been blessed to do some exceptional and extraordinary things in my life. And I am grateful for the people who opened my mind to those possibilities. But at the end of the day, I had to get up and I had to go out there and I had to take the bumps with the bruises and everything else. I had to take the ups with the downs, the setbacks, the delays. I experienced them all. My thing is, I don't have the capacity to quit. And to some people, it looks foolish until I hit, and I always hit. So that's the thing I'm trying to get you to understand. It doesn't always happen in the timing you want to. Trust me. Trust me. But what I can tell you is the things that have been the most rewarding were the ones that took the longest to hit. There's a reward for being patient. There's a reward for being committed. There's a reward for not giving up. I'm telling you from my life experiences, there are going to be ups, there are going to be downs, but you will win in this thing if you don't give in. Now, on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, if you're really truly ready to move into 22 on a good note, this is an opportunity. A lot of people want to work with me on a one-on-one basis and simply can't afford to, and I understand that. My programs, my one-on-one programs are exceptional. We have a 99.9% success rate. We get the job done, but it's not, for everybody because it's not necessarily the most affordable. So I've worked real hard moving into 2022 to find ways to work with people and to touch lives on a broader spectrum. Our goal in 2022 is to positively impact 1 million people. And obviously that's not going to happen with one-on-one sessions. That's where I love to be because I love working with people and seeing their life unfold over time. But also I know that there'll be chances to touch people's lives in smaller increments, in smaller levels of impact, but still have an impact. And so these programs are going to allow us to do that. And so this is just one. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that I die on E. My challenge to you is to do the same. On that note, I'm out. You guys have an unbelievable day.